Having just changed the logo on my channel to a symbol that says gender anarchy, basically. It's a transgender symbol and it has an anarchy A over it, and I hope you like it, and I'm not going to change it. That's what it is from now on until I decide to change it again. But yeah, so it's a gender anarchy symbol, and someone in chat is asking, do you consider yourself a gender anarchist, and what does that mean to you? I mean, yeah, I think I do consider myself a gender anarchist. You know, we have this discussion about gender abolition. I think gender abolition is the discussion that people are accustomed to having, right? Like Vosh would have said a few years ago that he identifies himself as a gender abolitionist. But then TERFs also use that term, and I think that they use it two different ways. I honestly think that what Vosh describes as gender abolition is more akin to what I would describe as gender anarchy. The idea, for me, is basically like gender is a thing that we imagine, and we associate a bunch of social things to these physical traits, right? And there's obviously, when we say gender, there's different tiers, right? Are we talking about the concept of gender roles? Are we talking about personal identity? Are we talking about someone's physical attributes on their body, right? Part of what gender anarchy is recognizing that this term is multifaceted. It means different things to different people in different contexts, right? And that's part of why it's easy to say it doesn't mean anything. It's kind of like how I know that I can be an atheist and I'm not agnostic about my atheism. I know for sure that there's no God, because y'all cannot come up with a consistent definition of what God even means. I can't put it to the test. You know, like there's too many different approaches. Like there is no consensus on what God is or what it means. So there is no way to find out what it is. And like, therefore it is kind of fundamentally meaningless, and I don't have to acknowledge it as having legitimacy, right? And it's a similar thing with this gender stuff. It means different things to different people over different timescales in different contexts. And so there should be no limitation on what you can do with your own body as far as your gender presentation and sexual characteristics. Like no limit to your sexual characteristics except the limitations of modern medicine. In the future, and I know Vosh would have said this a couple years ago about his gender abolition, in a hypothetical like Star Trek future, you can just do whatever you want. You can change your body. You can be whoever it is that you want to be. You can wear what you want, and literally no one is going to pay attention or care. They will just accept, okay, you're going by these pronouns now, great. Oh, wow, you look really different. Wow, that procedure you went through was pretty amazing. Love modern medicine now. Like, people will not care in the hypothetical future. And so I think that's what Vosh would have said gender abolition means to him, and that's kind of what I mean when I'm talking about gender anarchy. Like breaking down the concept that there is a hierarchy, that certain traits mean something inherent about who you are as a person. You know, TERFs will use gender abolition to mean we should get rid of the concept of an internal sense of gender, and everybody is going to be who they are, dictated by their sexual characteristics that they were born with. And like intersex people are an aberration who should be corrected. You know, like gender abolition to a TERF is just hardcore bioessentialist patriarchy. I like gender liberation as a term. Gender liberation is a great term, Charlotte. It feels more inclusive to existing movements as well. Yeah, I do think trans liberation now, gender liberation now, like those are certainly like political phrases that I'm more into those than phrases like trans women are women or things like that. And like, yeah, saying I'm for gender liberation definitely has different flavor connotation to saying you're a gender anarchist. Gender anarchist sort of implies that you want to like destroy the existing order. So obviously gender anarchist is a term that you would use if you do have like you want to position yourself as in a more radical sort of position, I guess. Like, I'm not saying that I want to take away anyone's gender. I want everybody to be able to do whatever they want without pressure or hierarchy or requirement. Like, I just want people to be able to exist however they wish. And I think that's what gender anarchy means to me. And so, like, if those are the values that you share, you might want to subscribe if you're not already. Thank you so much to my patrons and potential future patrons. I especially want to shout out Tiago Nascimento, Mersh Rolvog, Michelle Frateroli, Amanda B., Wellington Marcus, Michelle Winter, Danielle McDonald, Suzanne Maynard, Spooky Heather Sylvia, Past Null Infinity, Jamie Jam, Nova, Elizabeth Bartell, Sojo, Sarah A., Kevin Young, Athiet, Desi Quiche, Liam Hodgson, and Mr. Atheist.